haven't started yet. So, hi. I'm Swav. I'm a lead for Android Corp at this company for the last 5 years. I built it from scratch, and 2 years ago I found Flutter. Actually, I was one of my juniors actually found it for me. And I looked at it, and I started to build things in it, and since then I can't stop it. And actually, this happens to every developer who tries to start developing Flutter. It's like thing coming back, then they're coming to you in one-to-ones, and they say, I don't want to go back to Android. I don't want to do coordinator layer anymore. I want to do Flutter. So I'm looking at this right now very seriously. We were able to build the entire app. This is Dan Hamby Huyo team. We've built an app which essentially scans the receipts, and you get paid for it. And then sends the data to Dan Hamby, and then actually process this and make some very smart decisions about how to promote or actually was this campaign useful and fruitful or not. So because we were starting the project, we had to figure out how to make a CI on it. And we were starting in March this year. And back then, there was only one thing which was ticking off the boxes. It was like out of the box, ready for Flutter. It was Bitrise. I'm going to show you a bit about it. But let's start from the beginning. Do I need it? The CI. Some people don't need it. Some people, we are lucky, right? This is not Android on Ant with Eclipse 10 years ago. We have a command line which builds everything. It's like how difficult it is to write Flutter build iOS, and that's it. But you're doing this for, say, 2 reasons. Why is quality control, and these 2 guys are actually our testers. And the full quality control. The one on the left is manual, and this on the right is actually automated. And the second part is actually you want to have a fast delivery. And what it means is essentially you don't waste time. And what we found very often ages ago, when we're not running CI at all on our project, is the testers were actually testing the wrong APKs. And I don't know how many times this happened. It's like, it was fixed. No, it isn't. Can you show me your application? Actually, you are running a wrong application. You're testing. You spend a whole day doing regression on a wrong APK. That's a serious cost. So, and time, of course, because cost is a time. So you're addressing these 2 things. The one, you want to make sure that you've tested the right thing, you tested it quickly, and you minimize all these things on the way. And because we are humans, we make mistakes. We love make mistakes. And this is why I want to automate things so the machine doesn't make a mistake. But it's not that easy. So what I want to get from CI is like I want to have a replicable result. So this means that if I build APK 7 months ago, I can actually rebuild it. I can tweak some part of it and build exactly with the same SDK, with the same dependencies. And so that's something you want to have from the CI. The second thing is you want to have a process control. It's like there was nothing on the way. No one actually added anything on the way when this APK or this EPA was built, which means that you still actually are 100% sure that what you're giving to be uploaded to the Play Store or actually tested by someone is actually what it is. Another thing is we are lazy. We don't want to do it manually because it takes time, and you want to have it actually, we want to have just press it and get it. And we want to be faster. We want to spend time. So you invest in a CI and you want to make it run, but the thing is that investment is also means cost, and so how much I can invest into CI. So you're trying to do it probably on the beginning of the project, because later on, it's actually your return on investment is smaller, right? So if you do it on the day 1, it's like better than doing it 6 months later. But a couple of years ago, you could only just start with, trying to put something together, get Tomcat, install something on it, yeah, and have a fun. And yeah, so as you probably see, this tiny small print here. Yeah, that's the small print. So yeah, so for the ones in the back, just then you spend countless hours fixing, patching, and solving plugin conflicts. Yeah, so this is what it is. Essentially, you need a team. There are people called DevOps which do that for a living, and that's not us. We are developers. So you don't want to do it. And then someone figured out, let's make, for this stupid developers something so they can click and drop or whatever. And it's gonna. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, yeah. There was a pain, and there was a curve, and a cost, and licensing and everything. But then you had another thing, which is use a cloud. But then you can forget actually about performance of it, because usually the workers there won't be that fast, and actually Vagrant will take 20 minutes to actually create an image on which you can actually build your stuff. So you have to figure out where is your place. So what do you want to get? You want to not spend time. You don't have time to have a DevOps sitting, or you have these guys. They are in your company. So let's use them. Let them actually make this thing run. And I was on a project which were actually having real DevOps people maintaining images for Jenkins, and they had all the build tools for Android updated to the point that it was actually required, and it was all cool. But these guys were actually there all the time to actually make it actually work. And most of the projects you actually can't afford it, and you go for a cloud, and you try to do something else, and then you have, yeah, this problem. On top of it, it's like you're not the only one building here, right? There are other guys, and then you actually, oh my God, how am I going to scale? And your workers start to look like this, so everyone is different. And you have a problem with this, because then you don't have this coherent results. You cannot go back in time and rebuild the APK you built 7 months ago, because this image was already gone. So again, you need actually control over it. So currently, you have nice tools, like Docker, which is going to keep you actually up to date. You want to know that this was built against this agent 7 months ago, and this is actually Flutter agent, which I've created. So how many of you use Docker? Yeah. So not much to explain here, right? It's simple as that. What it gives you control of the environment, which is required, which normally if you just install Jenkins, you won't have it, because even Jenkins will going to update and plugins will update. So that's the one part. So that's the part when you want to have something controllable, but then it's, okay, I don't have time for that. I have to have it quick. So what do they go? And back then, we could only go here. It's bitrate. So I already had a Flutter plugin for it, where you select the SDK, which is one of the betas, I think. Betas there. And you have a lots of very interesting plugins, like deploy, and deploy to iTunes, sign, and everything, plus publish on a Slack, because the build was successful. So it was like ticking off all the boxes that we needed. And no learning curve, drag and drop. Maybe the only learning curve was actually how to use some of the parameters to make it more adjusted. So that was it. And then we could actually skip entire drama of distributing artifacts, because you can download them directly from the website, which was pretty cool. So yeah, so this was it. But this, in the end, this is actually the YAML file, which is created by this nice UI. So before you actually learn it, you can use this UI and get it, and then actually learn by reverse engineering how my configuration file looks like, which I suggest everyone, if you run this thing, you actually store this in a repo, the configuration of your process for building, because if you have to rebuild it, it's just pulling out from the repo. It's super simple. So this was it. And seriously, there was no problems here whatsoever. It was very self-explanatory from day one. And we had actually on a project one, like a extinction level event with a repo going out, and actually everything had to be moved to the different bucket. And we were able to rebuild the entire system with everything. So entire build, repos, Firebase with GCP and everything in one day with configuring this. So it's actually a testament to how easy it is to actually set. But this is not the best thing. The best thing is I'm going to show you something now. So probably you've heard a couple of months ago, Microsoft bought GitHub. And I was like, OK, I'm off. And I've decided I'm going to move my all repositories to the GitLab because I haven't seen it for a while. So I went there, and one of the boxes there on the left-hand side was actually CI. I was so curious. I see, what the heck is it? So I'm going to show you how it actually works now. I'll have to now share screen slightly differently. Yeah. So here it is, some project. Should I make it bigger? Kinda. Yeah. So this is simple GitLab project. So let's go to the project. The only magic here is this. Again, very simple. I didn't actually spend time figuring out how to pack IPA, but there are some guides about how to do it. So I thought, yeah, you can add another step here to actually package your compiled iOS artifact into IPA and actually have it exposed. And now, so how do you set up the CI? So you look into your project, and it should be somewhere here, CI. Yeah, and now actually it's something called runners. You're going to look inside. There are some shared runners which you cannot use because they are completely useless for us. They don't have a Flutter, they don't have Android Studio or anything, and usually they are Linux. And we don't like Linux, so how the heck I'm going to get Mac runner? And this is the fun part. It's this. Set up specific running manually. So first you're going to install a runner on your device. Simple as that. These commands are, just download and run it. Now, before you actually start, or you can start, you'll have to configure it, essentially register it with your project. And I'm going to try now to actually remove the runner. Yeah. Okay, so it's gone. And I'm going to try to, again, kill it. Is it big enough? I don't even know if it's, yeah. So it's a GitLab runner. Stop. I'm going to stop it. It may take a second. And I don't know if actually you have to do it. I don't have to do it because I already removed it. So GitLab runner register. So first, yeah, so if you have your GitLab, because you can host your GitLab at home, so you can have a different actually address for it. So I'm going to use actually the one which is here, gitlab.com. Now we're going to call it somehow. Yeah. Now description. Okay. Oh, sorry. I've done wrong. I don't see this. Yeah, so let me try it again. HTTPS gitlab.com. Now there is a token. Yeah, now I see it. Here is the token. I'm going to put it here. Fine. Now let's say Flutter London. Yes. Tags for it, of course, you're going to be Flutter. You can have a multiple assigned, so you can actually I've touched. Okay. You can essentially make your configuration file skip other workers with different tags which are not essentially meant for it. So you have a one for Flutter, another for backends, or building something else. So it's Flutter. And now is the hardest part. So everyone, please look. What you have to put here is shell. That's it, right? Because there are other ways of doing it. You can create a Docker for it. I'm going to show you the repo with a Docker, but Docker actually is a Linux, so it's going to build only APKs. So now I'm going for shell. So now your client is your worker is registered. We're going to start it. GitLab runner start. Here we go, and see now the gods of live demos. Yes, good. Yeah, so here we go. This is our runner. So now let's get busy. Come on. Is it on a different screen? Oh, no. Yeah, let's edit something. Oh, come on.
Index it first.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and yeah, so this will be our change. Perfect. Here we go. Yay. Okay, let's look. So here it is. It landed somewhere here. Let's look at pipelines. Here we go, already running. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So I don't know how long it took to actually put this thing. I think the longest part is actually installing the client, which is just 5 steps total. But what you're essentially skipping here is, and what you haven't seen, actually, in the Xcode, I had to set up my profile, of course, and how I'm going to sign the application. So I had to do it before, and I'm doing this if I'm doing locally. So the power of this solution is that essentially you're running your local hardware, which is pretty strong, and you have all the setup for actually signing, especially on iOS, already in place because you have your Xcode. So these steps are gone, right? On the day one, you're already actually pushing your stuff, and it builds every time you commit something. It's going to actually create a new artifact for it. So I think it's pretty impressive. So yeah, all the steps show me, yeah, starting Xcode, build done.
Sorry, you're saying that's running locally on your machine?
Yeah.
You use your local Xcode?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're using essentially GitLab only for storing your artifacts there. You can download them the moment they finish. Okay, job finished, fine. If I had more steps, probably would do it. I just haven't done it. So let's see the pipelines. Yeah, and here it is. Download, and that's it. Bum. Here we go. A couple of them already. Download it. My outputs, APK. And as I said, I don't actually create a EPUB from it. There would be different step to do it. This is your iOS app to actually put it together. So for me, it's a winner. And especially when you want to actually start day one and having some control over what is happening, definitely yes. If you're going later on down the line, you'll have a more visibility or whatever, maybe something else. But yeah, I like it this way. Questions? Yeah, and I mean, yeah, this one is, account is free. I don't know how much GitLab is actually if you try to run it locally, and what the limitations. I haven't tried it. This is just standard account I created for free, and just plugged my hardware in it. So I think it's good.
Any further questions? Is this GitLab quite configurable? I mean, for the maybe create pull requests, all the gate quality, code coverage, and so can you configure this as much as you can to create your developer experience or be more secure about your
so definitely you'll have schedules for things. You'll have some jobs. I don't know how I actually get triggers here because I haven't played with it yet. So, but I expect there'll be definitely some trigger mechanics here for, let's say, let's do this pipeline on PR when it's created, this one when it's merged, this one when I actually want to have a push to the Play Store and the App Store. So in the end, they all end up in this funny file here as some actually extra switch in it. So it is still actually something I have to actually figure out how to do it here. For me, this actually works right now. I can show you actually our bitrise for change. Let's go for iOS. So yeah, workflow, and let it load. So all the stuff that you've seen, and this is actually the configuration here. So you see all the parameters that we actually end up for this nice UI. They're actually here with all the stuff put in. So yeah, that's as far as I go.
So you were saying that you're installing the GitLab runner on your local machine, but I'm assuming that means that if you've got a hosted Mac Mini somewhere on the web, you can just install the GitLab runner on that, and you can do builds remotely. Yeah. Mac and Android.
Yeah, I don't know how many workers you can add actually to this account. I haven't tried it. Usually these guys have a limit, but if you're gonna get actually free TeamCity, you're gonna also have a limit like 4 workers, and that's it. So, yeah.
And also, I think now with the Flutter now it became bigger. They are more companies like.
So there's Circle CI, I believe, looking into it, and now as I mentioned, there is this nice list here. So yeah, go and check because there's the list of all the CIs out there. I don't know how many are useful for it. I'm pretty sure that Circle CI will be closed. I don't know how Travis is actually currently doing, but
there is a new Flutter one called Nevercode, Nevercode.io. They're offering a free trial for a year, I think, maybe 6 months for Flutter. So get it where you can.
Yeah.
But about the Nevercode thing, so what I understand about it was that it's literally Nevercode, so they don't have that YAML file. And for me, that's weird because then somebody could make any changes in the dashboard, and you don't have that in version control. So you're like, what's happening there? It's like a black box.
Yeah. So,
but I'm not sure. Like this is all hearsay, so I don't really know.
Yeah. So there's always this in how much control you want to actually have over the build, and in a actually extreme situation, you will have to go for Jenkins because there will be essentially no plugin for whatever you want to do, which will do what you want to do. Like, I'm working currently on a Flutter running on a desktop, which is completely different thing, and I don't think it actually steps here any use for me anywhere. So probably Jenkins will be as good for me as anything else. It just has to run the actually Dockers, because we build everything in Dockers there. So that's the approach. It's like always look at the minimum effort and maximum value current you need, because if in down the line is that, oh my god, I have 7 workflows, 7 different apps which are actually from the same code base but are slightly different themed or things like that, or different environments, then you actually start to see that these plugins are actually falling apart at some point, and you have to go for something else. And you have to have this escalation line. But before that, if you don't know how many actually things you're building just one app for 2 environments, that's good enough. If you notice, I haven't separated actually builds here for iOS and Android, which on a Bitrise we've done actually them separately, because even machines were different. So the Bitrise will you have to pay a plan and have actually Mac Mini running it to do iOS, and you don't need it for Android. You just run Linux and you're fine. So so that's just not worth it blocking this machine there for doing Android, because you can do it on a different one which is for free. So that's yeah, that's something you have to take into account. But yeah, try small and easy, and escalate as you have to. Not start to try to spend a lot of time to figure out the best CI ever, because you need a separate person to do that for you. Cool.
I was going to say there's another interesting thing you can do with this, and that is separate off your signing keys. So if you've got a team of developers, your developers don't need access to the release signing key. So that can all be kept securely in a secure vault and then loaded by the CI server for the release build.
Does that work if the runner's running locally still? Sorry, remote?
I would assume so, because it would ship down everything it needs to build.
It depends on actually how it ships and how the file system looks like here. Yeah, so
But that would
here,
make it insecure, so you probably wouldn't do it.
yeah, so here, if you look here nicely, we have the steps, and also we have a code signing and all the things configured here for actually writing this, and all the keys were uploaded for it. So actually, no developers were involved. You still have to create these keys. Actually, make these people able to actually run the thing on the devices, because it's stupid they compile thing and then again put on their iPhones, because they are not in a provisioning key. I'm still laughing about this. I'm fresh to iOS deployment, so it's really. But all these things actually you will find here very impressive. So yeah, your SSH keys to actually access your repo, cloning, fine. Then generating some funny files for some keys, which you have to supply. Again, secret that you don't keep in a repo. You want to run it somewhere. Certificate profile installer on which will actually run this to install the profile on the device which we're building, and then Flutter step. Again, here is actually the how you actually set which tag you want to build. This is funny notation here. You can see it's like the betas are also devs. You have to figure out which one are here, which are not present, and then actually the step. Yeah, test it, build it, boom. And okay, flavors, because we use flavors actually for what we're building. So yeah, it's pretty extensive. Also in a way, like how you want to trigger. So depending on a flow, so any push to master, we're gonna build a UAT. Pull request, source branch, target branch master, again, is going to do PR build with a different workflow, which, for example, doesn't create artifacts. It's just run tests effectively. I don't want to do make the artifacts for testers the moment I actually haven't accepted the PR. This is actually where the PR is created, right? And then you have a merge, which actually does, this, right? So the full UAT for testers to figure it out. And then also extra flow. So if someone actually tags with beta, it's going to build a prod app store target, which actually pushes to test flight. Yes, yeah, wings. Yeah, and our release candidates builds are actually here. Also, they're gonna go there for testing. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see. And yeah, it served us very well. We established, we set it up twice, and it was pretty easy. And then the fun part. Actually, you have all your successes actually published there with a link, so the testers know, oh, there's new build. Before they start working, just go to the Slack channel, they click, and they got it. Simple as that. So yeah. So you see them. Yeah, let's go and see artifacts. Yeah, it's and it's actually fairly configurable what you're sending there, because you want to send, for example, bit of the comment or the message which was actually created during the build, because your steps can actually create some message you want to post. So you see here PR build, so this is just PR made, and this is actually the one which will have artifact in it. You go, and let's wait for it. Come on, give me that. Oh, here they are, ePass, and that's it. Yeah, so everything here with all the data, you can backtrack it, build it again. All you have to make sure is you're actually keeping the configuration straight. So for example, you don't allow wildcards on dependencies, right? Remove them, and that's it. Yeah, so that's all from me. More questions? Or I would have to check it. Definitely they will have some pricing information. I haven't checked it because I was like, here guys, here's your account, just go and run it. And I was like, yeah, fine, okay. We're going to live with it. I would have to check. I don't know how much crowns, but it's yeah, but it takes its time, right? Sometimes it is. So, yeah.
People actually interested in CI as well. There's also, you can actually look at the serious CI that's used by Flutter itself. So in all the Flutter repos, like the Flutter plugins repo, you'll find all the YAML files for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at actually how they're doing, because they have test steps and coverage steps for all releases.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the I know it's not famous, but I'm using the plugin for BSTS from Azure DevOps. So they got to do this. So because it has integration with GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
You also had 5 repos. If your team is less than 5 developers, so basically it's free. If you got more than 5 developers working in the same account, you start need to pay.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh. Brava.